Welcome to part 20 of Final Fantasy 20. We're now doing the very first mission for the little boy who was wanting us to find this hunter and make sure that the deal goes down without any problems. But before we do that, Prompto has another photo opportunity. They're random. As we explore, we'll end up finding more photo opportunities. And that mountain, just that mountain.
Shoot.
Oh, trust me, we'll be dealing with that mountain near the end of the game. We're only taking a picture of it. We'll be dealing with it per se, like after the game is over and we have to do all sorts of quests afterwards. But yeah, fuck that mountain. Good reason too. Not because it's hard, it's tedious. Just absolutely
Should be a nice
tedious.
change of pace.
So, with that said, we're going to be going over to this mountain and we're going to be taking ourselves a photo opportunity. Just be careful not to run into any enemies because, of course, if you do, you won't be able to have the photo opportunity. Oh, we almost got into a fight. Oh god, Imperials are above us. Well, that's just fun. Take the damn photo, Prompto.
Good call. Now it's picture time.
Okay. That's just freaking hilarious. Just as we were about to take a photo, the damn Imperials almost attacked us. So our photo took precedence over the Imperials. So, yeah. Sucks to be the Imperials. Yeah, let's just head back to our car and continue the quest. We've got ourselves a long road ahead of us. After all, we're not only going to be having to meet up with this hunter, but see exactly why he's not contacting the store with that little kid in Lestallum.
Everything in order?
Yep.
So, with that said, it's back to driving on the road. And yes, I know, this is Final Fantasy XIII's, I forgot, I can't even pronounce that damn, stage, but it is a beautiful, beautiful song piece. All the music in 13 is beautiful. The thing is, after 13, I think the director of 13 got very over ambitious. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like 13, but 13-2, I'm kind of iffy on that, especially the ending. And Lightning's Return obviously sucks. I'm sorry if there's people who actually like Lightning's Return, because, well, let's face it, that game is mishandled incorrectly. Why did I just say mishandled correctly? I meant to say it was mishandled incorrectly, and while I can still understand the story, the elements of the game just doesn't make up for the story. And that's one thing I can wholeheartedly say about 13. Oh yeah, and that's just... Oh yeah, I can see it now. It's the Salith Waterscape. And I think I mispronounced it again. But that's alright. That's okay. We're almost to our destination, sort of. About 25% of the way there. And yes, I did mention that I'm not a fan of Lightning's Return. It's still better than Final Fantasy XI and Final Fantasy All the Bravest. It's just the fact that Final Fantasy XIII Lightning's Return could have been better. That is the thing that I'm trying to say. Like, instead of just having lightning on a time limit, and that's what kills the game completely, the time limit. it doesn't really work out well. I mean, the mechanics doesn't flesh out well. Yes, you could actually save yourself from death even though you're the leader, and that is basically where Final Fantasy 15 gets the mechanics from. But the problem is using your time sparingly, and sometimes the time resets, and then again sometimes it doesn't. I mean, that is an aggravating concept. And it could have been handled better, or for the most part, if they truly wanted to have Lightning have a lighter side and a humorous side, they could have done it in 13. And hell, if they wanted Lightning in skimpy outfits, they could have done it in 13. I mean, it wouldn't have killed them. But what made 13 better than Lightning's Return? At least, when it came down to the characters, it could have ended right then and there. The game flushed out. While the story may have been hard to understand for some, I actually understood it. The thing is, at least the combat was easy up to the whole the leader can't be revived bullcrap. If it wasn't for the fact that the leader can't be revived and you could have revived the leader as well as every other party member, if it wasn't for that, Final Fantasy 13 would actually have been the best game in the series. But people just got overzealous. They got excited, and well, they got over ambitious, and things like that just caused the downfall of 13, which is why this game is pretty much its own separate universe, even though it's technically in the same universe as Final Fantasy 13, and they had to rename it Final Fantasy 15, even though it's supposed to be Versus 13. So yeah, there's that. But we're nearing our destination, and our destination, we will actually find out why exactly this hunter is not holding up to his word. It's probably have something to do with the name of the mission. So, with that said, let's go talk to the hunter. But since this is a new area, we can not only get ourselves some gas, because I think we guzzled a couple of gallons on the way here, but we can also find some new procurements and also talk to the restaurant owner. But for now, let's talk to the guy.
You're the one who struck a deal with the shop in Lestallum?
Yeah, that's me.
Well, they wanted to know if the deal's still on.
It is, but there's been a minor setback. Getting the merchandise is no problem, but the delivery route, it's littered with old animal traps. Isn't safe to travel through there. I'm in the middle of removing the traps, but it's slow going. I'll say, would you mind lending me a hand?
And that is just about the gist of what we need to do. We need to find these traps somewhere out in the wilderness. And we're disarming animal traps. Great, we went from hunting treasures to taking pictures to disarming animal traps. And also hunting frogs too. Well, King's gotta make a living somehow. I mean, after all, his kingdom was ransacked by an empire. I mean, there's not much to say on that note. I'm going to go on ahead and get some fish. Just in case we run into some enemies. Unnecessary enemies, to say the least. So, with Kenny's salmon, now Ignis has found himself a new recipe. Just make sure that you buy it at least once, because I do believe they're in a lot of the Cornic stations, or the restaurants that have the Kenny Crow's restaurants. Make sure you find those as soon as you
come back anytime.
Well, make sure you buy at least one of them, because if you buy one, you probably buy them all, basically. And also, don't forget about the fries, too. Oh, And yeah, I had to skip because 10-minute time limit. It kind of happens.
That was one hell of a day, huh?
Yeah, but it was fun. Every day's fun. Even when we almost get ourselves killed. I never imagined it'd work out like this. That I'd get to go on an adventure with you guys.
Who would have thought, huh?
So, how long have we been friends now? Let's see, beginning of high school, so that's 5 years?
Yeah, but we've known each other way longer than that. Ever since elementary school, right?
Huh? You still remember that?
Could hardly forget being gawked at.
Well, you know, it isn't exactly easy being in the presence of royalty.
And when we did meet in high school, you pretended it was the first time.
Yeah, the first time I worked up the nerve to say something. Feels just like yesterday.
You should have said something sooner.
Oh, Noct. You just wouldn't understand. Back then, I was... Actually, never mind.
Hey, you can't just stop halfway.
Yeah, I know. I used to be super shy. Couldn't talk to people. No surprises, but I had no friends. At least not real ones. I was always alone. And there were times when I felt, well, worthless.
That's what's been bugging you?
I mean, when you look at me, you wouldn't think that I'm anything but a fun-loving, happy-go-lucky joker. But that isn't the real me. Behind all the quips and laughs, I'm a mess of hang-ups. I've always felt inferior to you guys. I'm not royalty, and I'm not strong. I'm nothing, really. Unlike Gladio, I'm not good with people. The way he connects with them, he's operating on a different level. Unlike Ignis, I'm not smart, and I can't cook to save myself. But when we hang out, it's so much fun, I forget what I'm not. Then reality hits me like a splash of cold water, and I remember that I don't belong. But I want to. Every moment, I'm desperate to earn my place, to prove that I'm good enough.
Think what you will, but I think you're good enough for me.
So, you really think I'm doing okay?
Yeah, I do. Anything else?
No, nothing at all. I'm sorry I got so real all of a sudden.
You should know better by now. You think I just make time for any old loser?
Huh? Why, you mad, bro? Seriously, though. Thanks for making time for this loser. Feels good to get that off my chest.
Happy to hear.
All right, I'm gonna keep on keeping on the only way I know how.
Yeah, you do that.
In case you're wondering, that cutscene happens when you rest here for the first time. You get to talk with Prompto about his, well, past. Then again, with episode Prompto, you get to learn a little bit more about his past. Oh, damn, I can't drive over there. That would have made things a lot easier, you know? But still.
Hi.
Prompto has a lot of skeletons in his closet. Let's just put it to you like that. Anyway, our
Better make tracks.
incursions with Prompto got us a new pop filter for his camera. So now, well, actually also for your camera too. So if you want to take pictures, you can switch to the pop filter, just like Prompto. And, oh, by the way, if you want to try to have random filters, just set the filters in the camera for Prompto. Oh, and for the record, this is probably the only place, the only area, the only side quest where you have like a number of items to find. They actually mark where you've already looked to make things easier for you and to limit the wandering. Which, by the way, I wish they would have done with those fucking gemstones back in part 16, or should I say part 15. I do believe they also do that with other side quests, and definitely do that in one of the dungeons, but it's Dino's side quest that does not have the marking of these certain items that you've already found. You still be wandering around in the same place. But at least for the most part, we're doing this for a good cause, but not just that, but we're also making good progress. Let's see. I think there's food around here somewhere. I could have just picked up some food. Actually, yes, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll get a new recipe. And I don't think I do, because I think I already have this. Crud. But there's 2 out of 5 of these traps.
You'll catch cold if you don't wear your jacket.
Now, here's the thing. You're trying to find these traps, but something that the game did not do for Dino nor any of the frogs in the very first frog mission, and that is sometimes your friends are wandering around. They'll actually find what you're looking for to speed things up. They did not do that in any of Dino's side quests at all. That is what makes Dino's side quests so goddamn annoying. I know I sound like I'm complaining, but they really don't do that.
Take a look at this.
Yeah, if you happen to find a trap on your own, it'll be just there. But if one of your friends find it, they'll tell you, Noct, over here. So, let's just try to explore the area. I'll eventually find it.
This is not normal.
And by the way, no, if you walk over these things, they do not clamp onto your leg. Well, that would probably be the most infuriating thing any gamer would actually go through while looking for bear traps and disarming them. They end up walking into a bear trap. That would be very infuriating to a gamer. Well, at least one that's playing this game. Oh, I think Ignis found a trap. Oh wait, no, they didn't. No, they didn't.
You see this, Noct?
Oh wait, yes, he did. Only got one more to find.
Taken care of.
One more trap to find, and then we'll just have to head back to Lestallum. And by the way, these the side quest that I'm doing here is actually beneficial, to be
I
honest.
got this. You just sit back
Oh.
and watch how it's done.
Oh. Giant millipede, and it's dead. Yeah, I was about to explain what was going on with that giant millipede, but yeah. The Hun legs. I do believe we've seen those before, but in case we haven't, Hun legs are centipedes that
See this, Noct?
will obviously cast poison once they bite you. Otherwise, they're easy to break, and they fall very victim to great swords. So they'll be around the area that you're trying to look for traps. It just so happens that in the 10-minute mark, right before I fought those things, that the time expired on the recorder. And I had to pick up right after the battle. So yeah, if I do run into any more, I'll actually show them off. If I haven't already. But now that we've gotten our traps all dismantled, now we need to talk to the guy and head back to Lestallum. Oh, by the way, free photo opportunity here. If you happen to sit in this bench, Prompto will take a picture of you, and it'll be among the many pictures you have throughout the entirety of the photos that Prompto has took in
Till next time.
that day. So yeah, and we just got memories of Final Fantasy VI. But for now, let's tell the hunter the good news.
Thanks for your help. With the traps gone, I can make the delivery as promised. I'll be along to Lestallum soon, but if you're headed that way, please send Vina my regards.
And with that said, let's head back to Lestallum by fast travel, since we've now come to this area and we don't have to take the long way back. So, with what we've done completed, hopefully we get some sort of reward. No, actually we will get some sort of reward. And by the way, this shop actually is important for one reason and one reason only. There is actually a side quest that involves their wares, believe it or not. And that won't show up until later on in the game. So yeah, there's that. And by the way, that won't be able to be accessed until the game is over and you have the ability to go back to earlier events. And I'll talk more about going back to earlier events later on in the game. But for right now, the only thing that needs to be said is we need to get this stuff over to Vernum. I think that's the name of the kid who thought that this guy was dead. Whatever the case, long load screen is long and we'll just dump this off. Yeah, this is probably a long side quest, even though we just took a photo opportunity and also had Prompto bleed his heart out, literally, about his past. It is just one side quest that we just did.
Might want to stock up.
Yeah,
on
I know
potions
there's
and
not
stuff.
much things done,
You're being helpful
but
for a change.
What do you mean for a change?
if it comes down to it, I will be able to space out some more stuff. For the most part, I'll figure out what needs to be done in later parts, but I do know this. The next part, I'm going to be focused solely on Vive, because I need money and I'll probably finish off some of his missions just so I could get enough money to do what I need to do. So,
Welcome.
let's see if there's anything of value here. Nope. Just make sure you come here, because this is the only place where there's like stat accessories to be bought. And you know, to be honest with you, I don't really wear them. This is the first Final Fantasy game where I don't wear them because the stats don't really last long in this game, even though they're dangerous. Probably the only one you have to worry about is poison and instant death. So let's talk to the kid, shall we?
Clearing things up. We've been in contact with the hunter again. With the deal secure, we can keep selling quality goods at reasonable prices. We couldn't have done it without you.
Yeah, no sweat.
By the way, new stock just came in, so take a look. You won't find cheaper.
Okay.
Excuse my grandson. The word precocious was invented for him.
Now, this store actually sells novelty items, but there's one thing that it actually sells that is important. Cactuar statues. And this store has one of them. And you had to complete that quest in order to get one of them as a part of the stock. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you guys next time in part 21 when I at least finish off Vive before moving on to anything else. See you guys next time.